Okay, welcome back to the channel. Sorry if you hear the heater, but the heater's going because it's like 30 degrees outside today. We went through a major blizzard. It ended yesterday. We got dumped with about 26 inches of snow. Here's a couple short clips of this blizzard, then we'll come back in the garage and we'll talk about the 81 shovel and some parts that came in and some parts that didn't fit and some parts that I changed over. So here's a little bit of this blizzard. Ooh. It's sticking to everything. Look at that house. It's got everything stuck to it. So you see that ridge right there? That's about 2.5 feet. Okay, so here is a result of that snowstorm. You can see my dogs only have a few paths that they can run down because there's massive amounts of snow. Let me take you out to the... I still have my truck. I got to clean out the bed. But, so this is the... We had a little bit of melting yesterday, not much. But we probably got about 2.5 feet of snow. So you can see the roads, what it looks like going down the roads. We're lucky that we have this kind of cleared out. You can see the massive amount of snowbanks that are on the road over here. Look at this side over here is at least 3 feet high, at least, maybe 4 feet from the plows. So I did make a path down this way because I need to make a path for the oil guy. The oil guy won't be coming down this way though, but I do this because I don't really want to walk in the street to get around to this side of the house because I need to get to our basement to check the oil. And you actually need to clear a path for the oil people or propane, so oil truck can stop in the street and then he can drag it up this way. And I shoveled over here to our oil fill, and then we go down this way, and there's my generator. I have to clean the door to the basement. We don't have access inside the house to the basement, so you can see the amount of snow out here. It's like massive. My trail is pretty much buried, but just massive amounts of snow everywhere. It's crazy. All right, let's go in the garage. We just got power back. Where are my dogs barking at? We just got power back last night. We were at it for about 30 hours. It went out on 7 in the morning of the day of the storm. We got it back yesterday afternoon. Here's my dog. Want 2 of them. They can't get over here. Here's the generator right here. Worked perfectly. And now we're going to have to call propane here in another week or so to get it tanks topped off. I'm about 50% in propane. I have 2, you can see one right there, 220 gallon tanks. And they generally come once a year because that runs our dryer and our stove in the kitchen also. So we use a little bit of propane all the time, but it's mainly for the generator. So luckily we had that. We had water, we have heat, plus we have a coal stove anyway. So even if our furnace wasn't tied in, we still have heat. Hot water we have, septic and water pump, well pump, things like that. Lights. We don't have the whole house is not hooked up. We don't have the upstairs hooked up. Some spots, but yeah. So let's go into the garage. I haven't worked out in the garage in a couple of days. We're trying to get ready for the storm. And then we didn't have power out there. I don't have power in the garage. I am going to hook up a portable generator this summer with a transfer switch. So if I need to get out in the garage, I can do that. But let me check the oil, and then we'll pick this up in the garage. Okay, so you can see we've got quite a lot of snow. It's really bad out there. A lot of roads in the adjacent towns are just impassable. They haven't even plowed some of these streets that have 2 feet of snow. And it's kind of hard to get into some of these towns that have narrow streets. You're gonna basically have to get a front end loader. Actually, the neighbor that owns a bog next door, Cranberry Bog, got a front end loader stuck over there. I think they went over the banking and didn't realize where the road was and where the curvature of the bog goes down. And you can see this front end loader sitting on its laying on it. It's not completely laying on its side, but it's tilted over to its side. So you're gonna have to get one of these tractor trailer wreckers to come in and pull that out. And when they're gonna do that, it's probably gonna be a while before somebody's gonna come in and try to pull that out. So we're getting by. We lost power for about, I don't remember, 25 hours or so. Went on at 7 in the morning. Monday morning, we got it back yesterday afternoon about 1, and then we got the internet back about 4. So not too bad. We got the generator going. I am putting a generator out in the garage, like I mentioned in the video. And this is the transfer switch that actually goes in the fuse box. I had this on my house when I had the portable generator, and then we got rid of the portable generator, and I got a Generac, one that's permanently installed for a whole house. But this one's going out here with the portable generator that I got, and that way if we, in the summertime or winter, if we lose power because of storms, I can still come out here and do a little bit of work. Mainly it's the heat and the lights. Everything else on here is run on battery, so I don't really worry about that. This thing will do 6 circuits, and I probably only have 4 out here that I actually need to use, so it should work out. As far as the bike, I haven't really done anything on the bike in about a week. Let me show you a couple parts right here. Actually, let's open this part first. Now, I don't know if this is going to actually be going, it probably won't be going on the bike. I ordered this before I ordered the top triple tree, because I wanted to order an alternative one in case the one that I bought didn't fit, but the one I bought seems to fit fine. But I got this one, and it was fairly cheap, so I figured I'll pick it up. I'll throw it in my parts bin, and then I'll have an extra part. So this is supposed to be, and it's heavy enough, this is supposed to be a chrome triple tree. The guy said it did have some rust on it. It looked like it had never been used. It was probably a display piece. Yeah, it looks, so far it looks pretty good, but let's look at this a little bit better. So this is a chrome triple tree. Not something that I'm going to use, because with the cowling on it, you'd never see this anyway, but there is a few spots of rust. There's like one right here, and there's some under here. It doesn't look like this thing has ever been on anything. And this is an FLH. Got some here, but again, it's covered with that nacelle, so you're not going to see this anyway. But it's already got the holes pre-drilled in it for the terminal plate there. So pretty nice. Just going to go on my spare parts. 30 bucks for this thing. I think the top triple tree that I got paid brand new. I paid 80 for it, so I could have actually used this, but again, you're not going to see any of the chrome. You might see this piece up here, and because most of this stuff is going to be covered by the nacelle and the cowling top. So anyway, not a bad buy for 30 bucks. Let me go take over the bike, and I'll show you another couple quick things. Now, you can't use these type of caps because they're round, because they need the flat caps like this. So I got this from the shop. Now, it didn't come in a package. He just kind of handed me these two things. These, if you look at these, I can tighten these down with my hand. They fit perfect. These are the ones that came with the bike. These are the ones that I got because, again, I can't use these dome ones. I have to use flat ones, and the cell won't fit with the dome ones. But these don't fit. Now, they're supposedly 5/8 with an 18 pitch, I think. 18 or 16, I don't remember. But it's the same pitch as this. Same 5/8, but these won't fit. So I'm thinking these might be metric. I can screw them in about a third of the way, and then they stop. They won't. They're really hard to get in, so I don't want to get it anymore. I'd have to put them on with a wrench. That tells me that these are the wrong size. So I did order some new ones. I actually tried these in another set of 76 tubes, and they didn't fit in those either. So I don't know what the deal is with it. I did replace those live and let ride, whatever they are, crap covers with these just plain derby covers and inspection cover. I don't really like that live to ride stuff on anything. So okay, so that is going to do it for this video. I don't know if I mentioned this. I might have at the beginning of the video. This is going to be the last long format video I'm doing. I won't do another one until the bike is together and I get to start the bike. There's nothing really different about installing this bike than there was a 76. So if you want to watch specific things that's going on, you can just go to the playlist in the 76 and you'll see the whole thing on there. There's really not anything different on this bike because I'm wiring it and everything just like a 76. So, and I really don't have the time or the patience to do long format videos anymore. If I had not done a video on the 76 FLH, I probably could have got that done a month sooner than I did. It just takes too long to do these videos. I absolutely hate editing videos and wasting my time doing that. So again, this is going to be the last long format video until I start the bike, and I'm not really even sure I'm going to continue with long format videos after that. We'll have to see how it goes. There will be a lot of the short videos, 1 or 2 minute videos as things progress in this bike. I'll do a video on that, on the things that are going on. But anyway, that's it. I want to thank all my subscribers, new and old, who watch the channel. Any of the comments that you made, I do answer every comment. So if you want to leave me a comment, go ahead and leave me a comment. I will be doing some tool, maybe some tool updates on some of the tools that I use, maybe later on this summer. So anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.